They say love makes you feel safe, like you finally come home after years of wandering. But what if the home you find is built on secrets that should have stayed buried? This is Magenta Rose Confessions, where love, lies, and death intertwine. If you believe love can be both salvation and destruction, stay till the last word.
When I met Darren, he felt like the calm I'd been searching for all my life. I was 26, an art teacher in Chicago, still recovering from a relationship that had drained me of color. Darren was 30, quiet, confident, the kind of man who made silence feel like safety instead of emptiness. We met at a local gallery. He stood in front of one of my paintings, a portrait of a woman looking over her shoulder, and said, "She looks like she's about to remember something terrible." It wasn't flirtation. It was observation. And somehow, it made me want to know him. He was thoughtful, precise, an architect who loved old things, buildings, books, even people. After 6 months, he asked me to move in. Not into a city apartment, but into his late father's old house in the countryside. The place was quiet. 2 stories high, surrounded by trees, wallpaper peeling, floors creaking, but Darren said it was peaceful. He said, "Every wall here has a story." I didn't know how right he was. The first few weeks were perfect. We made dinner together, watched movies, fell asleep holding hands. But Darren had one small, strange rule. I wasn't allowed in the basement. At first, I laughed. He said it was unsafe. Rotten steps, rusty nails. Don't go down there. But sometimes at night, I'd wake up to a sound. A soft hum coming from below the floorboards. It wasn't mechanical. It wasn't the pipes. It sounded like someone singing. When I told Darren, he smiled. Too quickly. Said it was just the plumbing. But I didn't believe him, because the melody changed every night. Sometimes slow, sometimes almost like a lullaby. Once I pressed my ear to the basement door, and I swear, I heard a woman's voice, low, gentle, almost human. When I called for Darren, it stopped. He came out of his study, listened to the silence with me, then said I was imagining things. But the next night, I heard it again. Every night, around 2 a.m. One Friday, Darren said he had to leave for work, an overnight site visit, 6 hours away. Before he left, he kissed my forehead and said, "Lock up, and don't go in the basement." I joked, "I could take an army of cleaners in there, fix things up a bit for you." He didn't laugh, just said, softly, "Promise me, Mira?" I promised, then broke that promise. The minute his car disappeared down the road, I went to his office, found the basement key in the top drawer under a folder labeled Property Records. The door creaked open. The air that drifted up smelled old, like metal and mildew. I went down, flashlight shaking in my hand, and what I saw didn't belong in any normal home. A small cot, a folded blanket, a pair of children's shoes. The walls covered in newspaper clippings, dozens of them, some almost completely faded, others newer, fresher. Missing woman found dead. Local woman vanishes. No leads in murder investigation. Each one had a picture. Different women, but they all looked like me. Then I saw a rusted lockbox, Inside it, jewelry, rings, Polaroids, and an envelope with one word written on it: Mira. My hands trembled as I opened it. Mira, you were never supposed to find this. I want you to understand, what I do out of love. They all reminded me of you. But now that you're here, I don't need to keep searching. Please don't be afraid. I'd never hurt you. Not if you stay mine. Then the humming started again. But it wasn't coming from the pipes. It was coming from a speaker beside the cot. And I recognized the voice. It was me. Darren had recorded me once, humming while I painted. He said it was sweet, background noise. I dropped the letter and ran, up the half-rotten steps and straight to the front door. It was locked. The keys were gone. Behind me, I felt a presence. Mira? Darren's voice was calm. Too calm. You went down there, didn't you? I told you not to. I couldn't even scream. I didn't dare to look behind me. My brain was working on overdrive. Everything in my life condensed into a singular pinpoint. Get out, my mind was screaming at me. I ran to the guest bathroom, turned off the light, and pressed my hand against my mouth. He moved closer. He had been speaking from his study. He must have noticed the missing key. Each step of his was slow, deliberate. Mira, he whispered, you don't have to hide from me. There was only one way out, the tiny window above the tub. I climbed, heart pounding. Just as he reached the door, I slipped through, fell into the low brush that surrounded the house, and ran. I never looked back. I didn't stop until I hit the main road. A truck driver saw me, shaking, barefoot, and called the police. By the time they arrived, Darren was gone. When they searched the basement, they found everything. The clippings, the lockbox, DNA evidence from women who had been missing from as recently as 6 months to over 30 years ago. It turned out that Darren's father had been obsessed with his wife, Darren's mother, taking women, keeping them, and killing them for years. And after his father's passing, Darren continued the same act, perfecting his father's crimes. Until me. They called it hereditary pathology. They said Darren's father was the monster, and Darren had learned from him. The police told me he'd been following me for months. He'd studied me, my art, my voice, my movements, before we ever met. After I moved in, every piece of my life had been chosen for me. What we ate, my clothes, even the way I wore my hair. And I thought it was care. I thought it was love. Sometimes late at night, I still hear that humming in my dreams, the sound of my own voice, singing to the dark. And I remember the last line of his letter. Please don't be afraid. I'd never hurt you. Not if you stay mine. Sometimes I'd wonder where Darren is now, who he's with, and whether or not she's better than me.
They say love is the light that keeps the darkness away. But sometimes, love is the darkness, and all it takes is one locked door to let it out. This is Magenta Rose Confessions, where love, lies, and loss intertwine. If this story left you thinking, stay a while. There are more shadows to uncover.